Everyone knew he was the devil.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin.
They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now that probably happens all the time. You understand? And he gotta be probably the smartest, dumbest person that I know, because he gotta know that those phone calls are being taped.
The drama unfolding behind the ever-so-secure walls of Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, truly the stage of our generation. Apparently, one inmate, who once had a teary bromance moment with none other than Sean Diddy Combs, has suddenly emerged as the prosecution's golden boy. Because of course, when you're looking for credibility, who better than your old cellmate, right? Word is he's decided to flip, hoping a few bedtime stories about Combs might shave some time off his own vacation in federal housing. Naturally, the streets are buzzing, because what's a high-profile case without a plot twist featuring secret proffer sessions and grand jury surprises? Sources, those tireless whisperers of truth, say prosecutors jumped at the chance when this jailhouse informant raised his hand. Observers, and aren't there always observers, claim this new chapter might just blow apart Combs' legal team, or maybe it'll just fizzle under cross-examination, but hey, that wouldn't be nearly as fun. Inside the prison, where the highlight of the day is deciding between mashed potatoes or mystery meat, even the faintest whiff of gossip turns into gospel. Meanwhile, corrections staff, clearly with nothing better to do, report that this star witness, creatively dubbed Witness X in court papers, had the oh-so-glamorous job of laundry duty. A position so elite it gave him free reign of the facility's backstage corridors, where celebrity suspects might saunter by. And because this is obviously how serious evidence is collected, he started jotting down every whisper, side-eye, and midnight phone call he overheard. Because spiral notebook surveillance is totally how the FBI rolls now. Those notes, now exalted as official government exhibits, reportedly describe Combs pacing nervously and whispering like he was plotting a heist in a spy movie. And wouldn't you know it, Witness X's memory got very sharp right around the time he got a juicy plea deal in a completely unrelated drug case. But don't worry, federal agents didn't question the coincidence for a second. Because nothing screams airtight justice like, "I heard it through the vent." The thrilling scene shifts to a drab little conference room, because where else would justice unfold but in a fluorescent-lit, soul-sucking corner of bureaucracy, one floor up from the jail cells? It was here that 2 riveting state-sponsored chats were recorded with our rising star of the informant world, Witness X. And wouldn't you know it, transcripts from those sessions, eagerly gobbled up by courthouse insiders naturally, suggest that Combs supposedly admitted he could be looking at convictions tied to SA and ST allegations. A bombshell, if your definition of bombshell includes hearsay from a guy angling for a lighter sentence. Predictably, Combs' defense team dismissed it as what it is, a desperate fairy tale pitched by someone hoping to turn eavesdropping into early parole. But prosecutors, ever the romantics for a good jailhouse redemption arc, weren't content to let the notebook do all the talking. They quietly subpoenaed call logs, because nothing screams due diligence like sifting through hours of collect calls. These logs reportedly show Combs ringing up an old buddy tied to his real estate empire. Now analysts, read professional speculators, are floating the idea that these calls might show consciousness of guilt. Because if someone discusses property, or heaven forbid, moves assets around, it's obviously part of a criminal master plan, not, basic adulting when facing federal raids. The defense, staying grounded in something quaint called reality, insists these were routine business calls and that Witness X was nowhere near important enough to catch the full picture. But insiders, those tireless mythmakers, say the phone time syncs suspiciously well with the doodles in X's spiral notebook, which apparently is now a sacred text in this unfolding saga. In a strategic bid to block this circus, Combs' legal team tried to bar the jailhouse storyteller's testimony, citing actual legal precedent about incentivized snitches. But Judge Michelle Forrester, ever the believer in reality TV-style courtroom drama, said nope, let the jury sort it out. Because what's a high-stakes trial without a little he said while folding laundry narrative? Observers, who definitely have nothing better to do, noted her decision falls right in line with the latest trend, letting jurors play detective in racketeering cases while balancing gossip with spreadsheets. Very modern, very Netflix ready. The suspense, armed with the scandalous revelation that witness X once hoarded contraband coffee packets, clearly the mark of a criminal mastermind, the defense is sharpening their cross-examination swords, because nothing says untrustworthy like a caffeine stash in cell block C. Still, prosecutors seem entirely unbothered, all but smirking as they hint at significant independent corroboration. Enter the grainy surveillance footage, because what's more damning than two guys eating breakfast near each other? A leaked summary, because of course there's a leak, claims the video shows Combs and Witness X at adjoining tables on multiple mornings. Shocking, revolutionary, almost like they lived in the same facility. This single camera footage is now being elevated to the level of Zapruder film by the prosecution, who've even brought in body language experts to decipher these breakfast tete-a-tete as covert strategy meetings. The defense, rightfully bemused, has labeled this take speculative theater, which is generous. Cafeteria fan fiction might be closer to the mark. Regardless, the video gives prosecutors a lovely little visual to wave in front of the jury, because nothing says airtight conspiracy like two men sitting near each other while chewing toast. But Witness X doesn't stop at lukewarm oatmeal intel. In one of his recorded monologues, he claims Combs casually mentioned a certain Jersey storage unit and gave some cryptic cleanup instructions to a relative. And lo and behold, the feds sprang into action with a warrant for a Newark storage facility connected to, wait for it, a shell corporation. Because every good scandal needs one. The agents reportedly seized 8 sealed boxes, a laptop, and a smattering of hard drives. Cue dramatic music. According to the chain of custody receipts, some of these treasures included flashy USB drives labeled with ominously vague names like Event Roster 02-2013 and Charity Gala Comp Guest List, which sounds more like a socialite scrapbook than a criminal ledger. But here we are. Digital forensics teams are now elbow-deep in spreadsheets and Outlook archives, searching for evidence that certain consulting fees were really just hush money in disguise. Meanwhile, the music industry is shaking in its overpriced sneakers. Former collaborators, some apparently still bound by vintage NDAs, have been getting subtle nudges from investigators. They're being asked about everything from career-launching weekend retreats to yacht parties and overnight studio binges. A few potential witnesses have politely declined, citing brand protection, which is PR code for "I saw nothing, heard nothing, please don't subpoena me." And now, as the winds of public opinion shift ever so delicately, a handful of industry insiders are suddenly discovering their moral compasses. Yes, others, brave souls, have quietly agreed to cooperate under conditional immunity because nothing says principled stand like, "I'll talk, but only if you pinky swear not to prosecute me." Entertainment lawyers, ever the stewards of integrity, are now urging their clients to speak up or risk looking complicit. The fear that the musings of a coffee-hoarding cellmate might somehow snowball into actual momentum. Meanwhile, corporate boardrooms are busy rewriting friendship bracelets. Sponsors are reportedly reassessing their loyalty to Combs-branded products, because obviously nothing taints a beverage line like alleged misconduct loosely connected through jailhouse gossip. Financial analysts, who now double as pop culture commentators, have noticed some curious timing, like the sale of a Beverly Hills property by a Combs-controlled LLC for way below market just 2 weeks after Witness X opened his spiral notebook to prosecutors. Must be a coincidence. Defense lawyers insist the sale was prearranged, probably during brunch or something. But prosecutors are already sharpening their PowerPoint slides, framing the move as a red flag for anticipatory asset flight, a phrase sure to thrill jurors and frighten accountants everywhere. Bank regulators, not wanting to miss the drama, have jumped in too, poking around suspicious activity reports and wondering aloud whether funds are being shuffled into offshore trust accounts. It's basically the Wolf of Wall Street Detention Center edition. On the spin front, both legal teams are working overtime to sculpt the story just right. The defense wants to frame this whole saga as a government Hail Mary, featuring a jailhouse opportunist selling bedtime stories for a sentence cut. Meanwhile, prosecutors are banking on data trails, documents, and digital breadcrumbs to spin this into a decade-spanning tale of cloak and dagger dealings. It's truth from the inside versus prison pulp fiction, a catchy little branding war that, according to jury consultants, could be decided in the first 5 minutes of opening statements. No pressure. What do you think of this drama? Let us know in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe Celebrity Insider News and press the bell icon for more celebrity gossips. Thanks for watching.